Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, this is my 2020 M2 and I've had it for about 2 years now. You've probably seen it on the channel, but you might not have. The problem with this car and the reason I haven't been putting it on the channel is because it's actually really difficult to get modifications done to the car. And for the price of restoring an entire E34, you get like one part on one of these. So I've been sort of piecemealing adding new parts to the car. It's taking me a lot longer than I'd like to, and it's hard to make content when you're doing like step-by-step, really small increments. So I'm gonna go over some of the mods I've done right now, and we're gonna go over what we're going to do, which is hopefully fix the exhaust drone. So one of the things right off the bat that I did was the BBS wheels. They're really cool. I got them from my friend for only $2,800 with Michelin Pilot 4S's. And I've actually sold the original wheels for $1,800. So it makes it, we're using boy math here, it makes it actually the same price as tires, and we're gonna call that negligible on cost. The next thing I did is I did PPF on the front end, and I did that because these M2s eat up rocks like crazy. I barely had any miles put on this thing, and you get little rock chips in here, and it drove me nuts. So I ended up having just the front end PPF'd, and that way it preserves the car a little bit better. The other thing I did, which is a really cool thing, which is this, I can't remember the name of it, but they're the bottom grill things. I'll put the link in the description below. Those bottom grills are actually really cool because they stop rocks from coming into the radiators. So the radiators on this car are really exposed. The bottom ones, like the intercooler, the transmission cooler, whatever the cooling system they have, a bunch of radiators on the bottom. They eat up rocks because the holes, the gap for the holes are way too big. But this grills actually fix that, so no more issue there. So I'm making this as nice as possible, and I'm trying to only do things that increase the good aspect of the car, not, you know, trying to rice it out. And sort of fixing one of my mistakes was, so I went initially, and you'll see one of my early on videos was going to Chicago for Meisterschaft. They sponsored the car, and it's a great exhaust, okay? But it's very deep, and it has this 1 RPM range, which you're always on the highway. And for people with sensitive ears like me, it bothers them. My wife, it doesn't bother her. But for me, it's like that tone drives me insane. So what I've done to compensate for that, and what we're going to go do, is I've bought some equal length exhaust mid pipes from Active Auto Works. And it's pretty cool because I actually found them used, and I wasn't planning on spending $1,600 on mid pipes, but I found them used for about $800, and that's a pretty good deal for these things. So I couldn't pass up on it, and hopefully it fixes that RPM range, I'm hoping. If not, you know, that's just some more money wasted. But that's why you guys watch me wasting my money instead of going out and doing it yourself. So enjoy. Anyways, let me show you those equal length mid pipes, and then we're gonna get to the shop. Okay, so what I got sitting in the trunk, and these are the equal length mid pipes. It's a really cool set that has an X, which is great. X pipes always make cars sound better. I don't know why every exhaust doesn't have an X pipe. I actually have the original midsection on the Meisterschaft in there, just in case they need to use some of the extra piping, because I don't know how it's gonna mate up to the Meisterschaft rear end, which I'm gonna keep that because I love those. However, I removed the mid pipes of the Meisterschaft just so that way I can put the H pipe back in, hoping that would remove the drone. It didn't. Put the original mid pipe back in, didn't do anything. But this guy should, because it has an X pipe. It's equal length, so that should solve all my problems, I hope. It also comes with this cool brace thing, Active Auto Works brace, to replace the other one, because the original brace that goes there is flat. This one has like a ridge, so it clears the exhaust. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys listen to the exhaust real quick. All right, so as you probably heard, there's a little bit of that deep tone, especially where I was revving at, which is sub 3,000 RPM, and it just drives me nuts. So I'm hoping this fixes it. Let's go to the shop and see how it goes. I'm here when you need my voice. I'm here when you need my voice. I'm here when you need All right, so just finishing the exhaust job. We're on our way. Oh man, you can already hear a difference in the sound. Oh, I love that rasp. So it has like right above 3,000, it has that rasp. Oh, okay, so it's a lot louder now, honestly. Ooh, okay, I like the tone of it. So the tone above 3,000 seems pretty good with the windows closed. Oh man, that noise is still kind of there. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the camera, but like under 3,000 RPM, you just hear like a droning noise a little bit. Man, I was hoping that would take care of it, but... All right, let's try this with the windows down, because I drive mostly with the windows down anyways. That's probably my issue. If I just drive with the windows down closed, I think I'll be fine, which I have been doing. But I like to open the windows. Like I had a Z4 before, and I loved the top-down experience. So the windows open, it's definitely it's a vibe. So hoping this fixes it, but we'll see. Oh, here's the windows down. I mean, it definitely sounds good. It's just loud. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna open it up. We're under a tunnel, so it's kind of loud. Okay, the tone is absolutely fantastic. So like below 3,000 RPM, the tone is great with the windows down. I drove it on the highway a little bit before I filmed this, and it is still drony, unfortunately, but does sound much better now. I'll say it has the equal length headers. I think equal length. I keep saying headers, but I mean equal length mid pipes. They add a sort of like exotic-esque, I just got a mosquito, exotic-ish sound to it. So like before it sounded very like, just like blah. And now it's like, it has like a range. It has a little bit of rasp to it, and I think that makes the experience a lot better. Let me give you guys a pull. So this is now Sport Plus in first gear. Nobody's around, so we're good. Okay, so the best tone it was at is like when it hits like 5,000 RPM, and it sounds fantastic. That thing sounds like something almost like an RB at that point. It sounds fantastic. Before that, it's okay. I'll give it like mid, but that sounds pretty good. So the unfortunate news, the drone, or that frequency that I consider drone, it's still there. And actually, to be honest with you, this sort of was like a step back than the original mid-pipe resonator that I had before. It's actually a little bit louder, if I'm being honest. But the tone, like past 3,000 RPM, sounds fantastic. It sounds great. So it did sort of make the experience better as long as I'm above 3,000 RPM. So the original issue is still there. That drone is still driving me nuts. If you guys have any suggestions for good axle back exhausts, I'm thinking just to change the axle back at this point and, you know, pray that fixes it. I don't like drone. I like loud cars. So I came from like before this, I had a 335 N55, and that thing it sounded great. And I know the N55 sound better than the S55. And I was hoping this fixes it, but it does sound great. It's just a little bit annoying. So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to watch more videos like this, please subscribe and like this video. It helps me continue to make stuff like this and spend money on cars that I shouldn't be spending money on. So thank you guys.